Today it's time for the video update you didn't even know you were waiting for. It's all about my moringa trees today, guys. And as you can see, there's a bunch of yellowing leaves, but they are enormous. They're so huge. I love them so much. In my last video, I was concerned not just about yellowing leaves, but also because they didn't seem to be holding on to their pods. I gave them a bit of fish fertilizer, and this was the very first moringa pod to set after that, and it is very large. I can feel inside of it seeds starting to form. It's very exciting, and she's a shaggy girl now, all covered in her dangly seed pods. I think some of the cooler temperatures, we've had some weather in the 40s, and I think that's what's going on with a lot of the leaves here. Or it could just be the way this tree likes to grow, that it sheds a lot. If you're looking for tidy trees, these aren't them. I actually chose these because they're a, quote, messy tree. I wanted something constantly replenishing the mulch layers on the bottom. It is going to lessen the work I have to do as they get bigger and drop more stuff. These trees attract so many native pollinators, it's crazy. This right here is, I think, just a western honeybee, but there are these big, huge black bees, kind of solitary bees, that are in these all the time, and hummingbirds all the time. Every time I'm back here, I see amazing insects hanging out in them. Not only are they getting very tall, they're throwing a tremendous amount of shade. As you can see, all under here is a nice dappled light and a nice canopy layer. And as I look back towards the house, you really can't see my house anymore. These trees have gotten so big, there's kind of a little archway tunnel. I have to kind of crouch as I pass through them. I do have kind of an issue here with this tree. As you can see, if you look down in there, accidentally, it appears to be growing through the wire. Hopefully it's below it, but I don't think so. I think this is the only one, but I'm going to have to get some wire nippers and possibly cut around where the roots have grown through and around it. I'm going to actually do that pretty soon. Now, I have another little tree over here, and please don't judge my melons. For those of you who have been watching the channel, you'll know that the melons are at the end of the season and they're dying rapidly. This little tree right here is the shortest of the ones in the back. It has quite a few drumsticks. Well, it's got four big drumsticks hanging off of it and some babies. The remarkable thing about this tree is, I talked about it in an earlier video, it kind of blew down in it blew over in a storm, and it was dying, or so I thought. And this is a testament to the vigorousness, the tenacity of these trees. This tree, I don't know, let me see if I can get down in there. The base of it has bulbed out and grown over and I think around the damaged area on the trunk from the storm. And I don't know if it would survive if I took the supports out, or I mean it would survive, but I don't know if it would stay upright. And I don't even know if I'll keep it in the long term. But for now, it just wants to live, so I'm going to leave it. When you come back over here, get past this tree and turn around, you can see that they are quite tall. And this is a 6-foot wall here, And some of these trees, I would say, are over 20 feet. This one right here in the back, and then the one just over from it. It's a big one. So, let me crawl back through here. And if we come around here, this sapling here is incredibly tall. She's finally starting to bloom, but she's incredibly straight. She's like the straightest sapling I've got. And also, I think the tallest. Now, she does have a small soil height advantage, but this one is also extremely tall, but this one has a lot more branching. As you can see here, thicker side branches. Pretty soon, I'm going to cut them all down. Not entirely. What I'll do, and this is a good tree to look at here, what I'll do is I'll probably top them at about my eye height. So right here or right here. I'll top them. I'll clean up all the branches. And then I'm going to put a wire cage around these spars. The single, stem trunk of the tree, minus all of these branches. I'll put a garden wire cage made into a cylinder around each tree trunk, and then I'll pack those cages full of straw. Now I'm going to actually have the cages come out about that far, a good distance, probably past my wrist in either direction around. So there's like a good several inch thick layer of straw to kind of insulate them from harsh weather and temperatures. This one here, when I cut down, I am not gonna cut this back to a spar probably. I think on this particular one here, I'm gonna cut it right here and cut this right here, and then I'll trim any growth except one that tries to grow like that. And then I'm going to see if I can get the spar to grow up next year from what's left of that. I don't like the way this is going. I don't want it rubbing the corner of that building at all. I do kind of like that it forked and is trying to make multiple tops, and that actually is even cooler because it's a nice screen, but it's not really needed here because there's all of this hedgerow to screen the house, so it's not essential. If this wasn't here, I probably would encourage that more and figure something else out. If you're curious about the bags, those are there so I can isolate pepper flowers so that I can have purebred pepper seeds from anything that forms in those bags. But as you can see, the trees are huge. They're only getting taller. Hopefully they continue to grow and thrive, but mostly finish with the pod production. I would like to have some seeds from trees grown entirely in my yard, because I think the seeds in here would be better to plant next year. So I'm really excited. These are delicious. They're so good. When they get not quite as big as this, maybe about like this, where they're like a really long, fat piece of yarn, but not kind of getting more rigid. They're real floppy feeling. They're delicious. They're crunchy. They're kind of sweet. They have kind of a green pea flavor to them. Very little bitterness or spice, but just phenomenal flavor. And I don't know if it's visible from here, but there are just a large number of small insect pollinators all over these flowers. The flowers themselves are pretty gorgeous. Really lovely. Sorry, it's of course right when I zoom in the wind would pick up. In the morning, I see hummingbirds here all morning long as the sun's coming up. It seems like these trees tend to be their first stop in the morning for a quick drink. Sometimes I'll just see them sitting on a branch next to a cluster of flowers, like that honeybee is in right there, and just sit there and sip. They're just lovely. They're just lovely, and I'm so glad that I found information on these and chose to grow them, because they are definitely beyond my wildest dreams successful. So, and they're just, the flowers are spectacular. I just love them, and I'm super thrilled with how well they've grown. I actually have like a kind of canopy layer back here already that makes an enormous difference in how it feels back here. This is a really awesome spot to hang out in. The sunlight isn't intense, and as it fills in, it's going to make a great home for some perennial crops I want to grow back here, like chiltepines and possibly sweet potatoes and a few other things. I have some like wild tepiary beans and a few other things that I'd like to get going back here. So yeah, that's my Moringa forest, my baby Moringa Forest update for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you back here soon for the next update. Bye for now.